Al Jazeera, 4th of April 2024, a survey indicates that most Southeast Asians would choose China over the United States. China duped Southeast Asia in a brief period of time, as the majority of Europe has begun to decouple from China. A survey reveals that, if compelled to choose, more than half of Southeast Asians would support China over the United States, highlighting Beijing's expanding influence in the region. This week, the State of Southeast Asia 2024 survey revealed that 50.5% of respondents would prefer China, an increase of over 11% from the previous year. The most recent iteration of the survey, which the ISEAS-Yusof Ishak Institute in Singapore annually conducts, is the initial to indicate that China is favored over the United States. In contrast, 61.1% of respondents favored the United States over China, 38.1% the previous year. In contrast to the United States, China was selected by 59.9% of respondents with a short-term perspective as the most influential economic power in the region. Although the respondents recognized China's considerable power, a significant proportion, 67.5%, harbored skepticism towards Beijing due to concerns over its expanding economic influence. Vietnam received the most expressions of concern from respondents, with 87.7% expressing concern. Myanmar, which the Chinese occupied, followed Thailand with 80.3%, the Philippines with 75.8%, and China with 87.6%. More than half of survey respondents expressed concern that China could use its economic and military might to coerce nations in the region, whereas 45.5% stated that they lacked confidence in China. 41.5%, 52.4%, and 41.5% of the respondents ranked the European Union, Japan, and the United States as the most reliable regional powers, respectively. According to Bonnie Glaser, Managing Director of the Indo-Pacific Program at the German Marshall Fund of the United States, the survey reflected the complex relationship between the region and China. Glaser told Al Jazeera, "The perceptions of China reflect the complexity of the majority of Southeast Asian nations' relations with China." While acknowledging China's increasing hegemonic and belligerent influence, they oppose threats to their sovereignty, fear potential economic coercion from China, and generally lack confidence in China's ethical conduct. See nations strive for diversity in their diplomatic ties. Although the second-largest economy globally presents prospects for investment and trade, Beijing's management of contentious matters, including the South China Sea, where it asserts control over an extensive expanse of maritime territory contrary to an international arbitration ruling, has also incited discontent. A non-resident scholar at Carnegie China, Ian Chong, advised that the survey results should be regarded as a momentary depiction of the sentiments experienced by Southeast Asians with university educations in January and February of 2024. It is not inherently anti-China. Chong told Al Jazeera, anti-American sentiment is tied to support for Israel's excessive actions in Gaza, as well as the fact that support for Israel means the United States is willing to veto and stall United Nations processes. Despite geopolitical tensions between the United States and China, respondents ranked the economy above all other concerns. 57.7% of respondents cited unemployment and the possibility of a recession as their primary concerns for the region. Climate change and intensifying economic tensions between major powers followed closely at 53.4% and 47%, respectively. The region continues to express apprehension regarding the bleak economic outlook in light of the current state of the global economy. Unemployment and economic recession are fears of the majority of Southeast Asians, the ISEAS-Yusof Ishak Institute stated in a report that accompanied the survey. With Muslim-majority Malaysia, Brunei, and Indonesia expressing exceptionally high levels of concern, the Israeli conflict in Gaza was identified as the most urgent geopolitical issue. This was followed by aggressive behavior in the South China Sea, fraudulent operations, and the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. When queried about the Gaza war, 27.5% of respondents cited the possibility that it would undermine international law and the rules-based order. In comparison, 29.7% expressed concern that the conflict might incite religious extremism. The report states, The ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict has become a contentious issue in Southeast Asia, commanding considerable attention in the domestic politics of the region. Notwithstanding its remote location, the conflict has had a profound impact on this multiracial and multi-religious region characterized by its diversity.